What's going on, guys? Mir here, welcoming you all back to Carpe Diem Reboot with episode 2. Today, we are going to continue where we left off right here at the beginning of a new day. Ugh. Waking up hungry is the worst. Pull my face out from under the covers to be able to see. It's quiet in here. Only noise I can hear is the wind softly banging the sliding door open and closed. And I guess my stomach. Walk to the fridge and take out 2 muffins I bought from the bakery yesterday. Ah, sweet muffins. I've only had 1 bite, yet I'm already satisfied. I turned to check the time on the clock. 3:40 a.m.? I know I went to bed early yesterday, but 3:40 a.m.? How does this even happen? Now I have nothing to do. I can play more games or something, but I'm not really in the mood right now. Luckily, I know of a place that's absolutely perfect for this time of day. Or night? What do you even call 3 a.m.? I take a quick shower, put on a sweater, and grab another muffin before heading out. The town is a huge peninsula. It's almost completely surrounded by water. Almost every day in this town winds up sending you somewhere along the coastline. Because of the place's natural beauty, it's become commercialized. For that reason, it's become very popular amongst tourists. However, there's an off-limits area about the town that only the locals know about. I love it there. The only problem is, security in the area is almost always surveying the place, meaning the only time you can really get in safely is this early in the morning. It's a cliff where the land abruptly ends in 100 feet above the sea level. It's the highest and most distant part of the town. According to rumors, the cliff possesses a dangerous area that forces people to commit suicide, or in some cases, homicide. This has caused the cliff to be known as the Reaper's Peak. Townspeople, especially elders, will tell you all kinds of scary stories about this place. For me, the Reaper's Peak is nothing more than the most peaceful part of town. It's just a couple of hours walking distance from my place, but since I love walking, it's never been much of an issue for me. Top that with the fact that I love high places, and there's really nothing else I could ask for. I arrived just a few minutes before the sun rises, just in time to witness the sky right before the sunrise. I sit down and let the cold breeze coming off the sea wash over me. Despite how beautiful the situation would be to anyone else, I wasn't able to take it in. Instead, my mind reverted back to thoughts about I. She really didn't have much time left. I cross my arms above my knees and rest my head on them. What the hell am I doing? I should probably help her if I want to, but a part of me thinks it might be better just to let her move on. I continue contemplating Ai's scenario until the sun peaks over the horizon. Suddenly, I hear a car off in the distance. Ah, crap. That has to be the guards. I begin my descent down the side of the cliff, which eventually turns into a road. I know this place better than anyone in town, even the guards. I walk back home at a slower pace than normal, appreciating the scenery as I'm trapped in contemplation. What should I do? If I don't do something about I soon, her time here is going to expire any day now. At the same time, though, what would she even want? Would she even want to stay here? All she does is work. Is she actually happy that way? What would staying alive do for her in the first place, if she isn't happy to begin with? After battling with myself the entire walk home, I decided the best course of action is to stick with I until the very end. I'll let her go in peace. I should have 2 weeks left, and spend all of it with her. I'll make her so happy that she couldn't possibly have any regrets. It'll be nicer to her than ever before. Upon arriving at the apartment, I see another delivery guy standing in front of my door. This time he has 2 boxes instead of just 1. That's it. No more Mr. Nice Guy. I introduce myself as the tenant of that unit and enter the apartment as soon as I sign the paper.
Young, this is an emergency. There was someone knocking earlier. I think it was the delivery man. He probably left. Can you...
Kick one of the boxes into the room.
Oh, you got it. Thank goodness.
I swear I'm opening these boxes.
Hey, wait. Don't be hasty. Let's talk this over, okay?
I take out a big, irritated sigh. There really isn't any reason for me to get mad, but I do anyway. It might be because I'm continually accepting the deliveries while still being in the dark about the content of the boxes. I push the second box inside and close the door. It's starting to scare me, you know.
Oh, be afraid. Be very afraid.
I'm serious.
So am I.
My phone rings. Considering there is only one person who ever calls me, I figure out who it is right away. It's Seiji, an acquaintance of mine. I gave Aya a very quick, we're not done talking yet look as I exit the room and answer the phone. Hello?
Hey, it's me. How's it going?
It goes. What's up?
Nothing, just checking in on you. How's the project?
I'm still working on it, but I'll finish it soon.
That's good to hear. I've said this a million times already, but if you have any problems, just call me, okay?
Yeah, I know.
Okay then, talk to you later.
Bye. I hang up the phone and head back inside. Now, where were we?
Hold up, Young. I have a question. Do you want this gift or not?
That is not
Do
the...
you want this gift or not?
Hey, let me...
Do you?
Yes, I do, but...
It's decided then. Let me do my thing and you'll get your gift. Comprende?
Arguing with her is no use. Once she makes up her mind, there's no changing it. I'm just going to have to drop it. Besides, I already decided to let her have her fun. I pushed the boxes towards her workspace. Wondered how she could ever take the things out of the boxes, but I figured it would be pointless to ask. She'd probably just shoot me some snippy remark back at
So
me.
where did you go earlier this morning?
My mind is so preoccupied that I give her the vaguest answer I can think of. Somewhere.
Well, that's not very specific. Somewhere could be anywhere. What are you hiding from me, Young? Confess. It's a woman, isn't it? That secret phone call, too. It's definitely a woman.
What the hell are you talking about? It was just an old acquaintance of mine checking up on me. By the way, I need to look at something up on the internet.
Oh. I'm currently using 100% of the system memory. Give me 1 sec.
Don't worry about it then. It's not really important. Carry on with what you're doing.
Okay, then.
My mind is finally at ease compared to yesterday. I guess visiting the cliff paid off. I'm back to normal again. Turn on my gaming console and get ready to carry on with my normal activities. Moments later, I hear Ai scream.
Oh, shoot! I did.
Well, that sounded pleasant. Looks like she was so busy with whatever it is she was up to that she didn't even notice the time. Classic ditz. Now I can finally have the computer back. I finished everything I needed to do on my own now that I isn't around to help me out. It'll probably stay this way until her new project is finished, if you can even call it that. Wake up at the same time Ai's program boots up.
Good morning.
Summoning the bulk of my morning energy, I sit up in the bed. Morning.
Anything you need me to do?
Nah, go ahead with your thing.
All right, I'll do that then.
Before she can disappear from the screen, there's a knock on the door. I look at her amused. She responds with the whoops face.
I'm pretty sure this is the last one. Sorry.
I stand up and make my way toward the door. As expected, it's the delivery man. He probably knows my address by heart now. This time around, he's carrying a relatively small box. Just like always, I sign the paper and take it from him. I'm starting to feel sorry for this guy. He must be getting sick of me by now. This is all I's fault.
Ah, finally.
What is this?
The secret formula.
It's not gonna explode, is it?
No, silly. You can sneak that inside the mini case. Be very careful. That one is extremely delicate. And remember, no peeking.
I slowly insert the box into a small opening.
No peeking.
I know, I'm not peeking.
Great. Well then, I'll get on it right away. Oh, and you can take the big boxes away. Thanks.
She disappears. After I flatten and dispose of the boxes, I head to the kitchen and prepare brunch for myself. It's been 3 days since I started making this gift for me. My birthday is only 2 days away now. With all the time that she's been spending on making whatever it is, I've started to feel that we're gradually drifting apart. We're barely seeing each other, barely talking to each other anymore. I keep wanting to bring it up to her, but there's only so much time in the day, and even less time for her. 1 hour passes. 2 hours. 3 hours. 4. 5. Before I realize it, it's already time for I to go. I feel like I did absolutely nothing today. I just kind of existed. Give myself a slap on the wrist and try to search for a bright side. It's alright. After this thing is done, I'll have all the time in the world to talk to her. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I wake up feeling like I'm in the middle of the ocean, floating around peacefully, calm, desolate. I open my eyes and see nothing but the ceiling. My mind is racing so fast that I can't even figure out why it's racing in the first place. Confused, I revert back to the only constant memory as of late. How I is drifting away from me. What's even worse is the fact that her runtime is getting shorter and shorter each day. It feels like she's fading away. As if something is stealing her from me as I just stand there and watch. I sit up and face the computer. Aya has probably been active for over 3 hours now. I know she's probably busy finishing up her project, but I call out to her anyway. Aye.
Oh, hey there. You're awake already. Sorry, I'm a bit busy right now.
You know, I stop her before she can go back to what she's doing. I'm happy you're making me a gift, but you really don't have to.
What's this all of a sudden?
I guess I thought about I thought about losing you. I feel like we're getting further and further apart. All of these things I've been stuck on the last few days start spilling from my mouth the second I opened it. What was I even saying? I'm sitting here, pouring my heart out, and Aya's just listening. Does she even care? Furthermore, I don't really need a gift. I'm satisfied with the things I already have. After a long pause, she smiles at me in an attempt to cheer me up.
What's with you getting all emotional as soon as you wake up? You're just imagining things.
I see. She's trying to avoid the subject. eye disappears from the screen. Her voice instantly changes from cheerful to serious.
I'm going to give you the best gift, Young. The only gift I can give you. Just wait and see. Please, just let me finish this. I'm running out of time.
I don't understand what she means by running out of time. Is she talking about the time left until my birthday? Or the time she has left as a whole? Part of me wants a clearer response, but the other part of me thinks I shouldn't press further. Maybe I really am just... You guys see this too, right? That's not just me. Maybe I really am just imagining things. Maybe I'm just overthinking this. Honestly, I don't know anymore. It's like I'm slipping into a sort of void that I've never really felt before. What is this? Loneliness? Regret? I force my mind to clear itself and realize soon after that I'm starving. I get up to grab myself something to eat. I'm running low on food already. Didn't I just go shopping? Guess I'll need to go out again soon. Today feels so boring, lonely, empty. Something about it is making me forget how I normally live my life, how I've survived up until now. Even though today doesn't seem completely different, it lacks something. Something is missing. Carry on with what I assume are my everyday activities. Eat, clean, shower, games. It's still not enough. What am I forgetting? I sit on my bed with my back to the wall as I continue to brainstorm about why I felt so empty. Before I know, I'm staring at the computer screen across the room. Suddenly, it turns off. Jeez, just let me know when you're leaving. Did you forget about the time again? My birthday's tomorrow, you know. You won't make it in time if you... Before I can even finish the sentence, my body begins to feel lifeless and my eyelids grow heavier than steel curtains. I fall to my side and slope down on the bed, still facing the computer. I lack the energy to keep my eyes open anymore. My senses shut off, but I'm still awake, probably only for a few more minutes though. Lacking the resolve to tear myself out of bed, I glue myself to it and just lay there, doing nothing, thinking of nothing. Okay, we're still rebooting, that's a good sign. I open my eyes and am greeted with the same exact view as always. It feels as if only seconds have passed, but it's probably more like hours. The smell in the air, a distant noise from outdoors. It's probably around noon. The emptiness I felt yesterday had vanished, because I was just having one of those days. Today is it, though. Today is the day that Aya's gift from me should be finished. I think the sad part is that I'm more excited for Aya to be done working on the gift than to actually receive it. That way, things can go back to how they used to be before any of this. Can go back to how we used to live. Right now, I couldn't ask for anything more than that. The silence in the room that has spent the last few days suffocating me started to dissipate. I walk up to the computer, beaming with energy. Hey, Aya. So are you done with the... It'd already be up by now, but there's no sign of her. All I see on the screen is a letter. Dear Young, I hope you're reading this on the day of your birthday. The past week has been a race against time. Even after all my hard work, I was barely able to finish this. I'm happy to say that your present is ready. Before you open it, there are a few things I want to say. I want to thank you for creating me. All things considered, it was a gift of life. There's probably no other way to put it. Even now, I still find it a little weird to being able to think and feel. But because of that, I was able to make memories with you, and that's more than enough to be thankful for. There's absolutely nothing I can say or do to show you just how grateful I am for everything you've done for me. You created me, but the me you have created is gone. We both knew the program was destined to end sooner or later. We both knew the risks. So, before my program broke down enough to wipe out your hard drive, I decided to get rid of it. I'm sorry I didn't get to say goodbye properly. I'm sorry I didn't spend my last few days with you. I know that that's not what you wanted, but please don't be sad. This is a new beginning. It's the start of a new life. So, please, take my gift. I hope you like it. Love, I. What? The hell are you talking about, I? What do you mean, goodbye? I rapidly opened up the program files on my computer. Just like she said, the program's gone. I is gone. There's not a single trace of anything. Come on, I, you can't just... I fall into my chair and zone out. My mind is bombarded with one question after another. I want to let loose all of the grief and sadness building up inside me. I'm so confused that I can't even remember how to cry. Out of all the words I need to say at this very moment, there's only one that's able to find its way out. Why? Breathe in, breathe out. The more I try to gather my thoughts, the more I lose to myself. What should I even be thinking right now? Mind goes blank, my body goes limp. Last time I really ever spoke to I was during our date. After that, we barely even saw each other. 6 days managed to pass by without us interacting. Now she's telling me she's gone? Thought I was prepared for it. This isn't how it was supposed to be. Not like this, I. Not like this. Before I realize it, I'm standing in front of the curtain hiding I's present. This was the only thing she left behind. You idiot. I told you I didn't need a gift. You could probably be what could possibly be worth giving up the rest of the time we had together? My hand tightly pinches the part of the silky drapery. What I'm feeling at this moment is neither sadness nor regret, but fear. I'm honestly terrified of what lies behind this curtain. I'm terrified of all the emotions I've been holding back will explode into rage as soon as I pull back the shroud. How could this possibly be worth it? Why didn't you just listen to me and not bother making to me a gift in the first place? If I knew this was going to happen, I never would have brought these boxes inside. I gulped down the air left in my throat as I braced myself for what I'm about to see. Slowly, I let the cover slide down. I have a feeling that I know exactly what this is. There sits the body of a naked woman with a familiar face, surrounded by a few small boxes as the machine appears. Surrounded by a few boxes that appear to be functioning as a machine. Her eyes twitch as she awakes from her slumber for the very first time. I regret not saying it. I regret not calling it earlier on, like last episode. She looks at me and smiles. Not knowing what else to do, I simply stare at her. I'm in awe. She opens her mouth and utters a single word. No, I read that right. That should be word.
Surprise.
The tears I'd forgotten how to let out begin streaming down my cheeks. My body weakens and brings me to my knees. I raise my hands and reach for her face. It's warm. as warm as a person can be. Her present to me was a human body, a new container for her disappearing program. She was able to do something like this? You idiot? I smiled back at her. Moments later, my brain finally grasps that I am touching the body of a naked woman and sends me jumping backwards. Sorry. I grab a shirt from my closet and reach out to give it to I, still looking away. Here, put this on.
Okay,
But what?
I'll need help.
Help with what? In the corner of my eye, I notice that her fingers are shaking. She can barely move them. She's not used to this body yet. It explains why her voice is so soft and cracking. Still looking away, I manage to pull the shirt over her. Her hands shake while trying to cooperate. Mine are shaking for a completely different reason. The shirt was long enough to cover half of her lower body in addition to her top. She grabs onto my arm and pulls it down as if she were trying to climb up. I hold onto her elbows and help her get to her feet. She's surprisingly light. Her skin is soft and smooth, just like a real human's would be. I walk her toward the bed and help her sit down. While she's trying to maintain her balance sitting up, I grab a pair of boxers from the closet for her to wear. Raise your legs. I'll put these on for you. I never thought a time would come like this when I would be helping I put on underwear. How are you feeling?
Weird.
She lets out a quick laugh. Her voice is starting to sound more natural. There are still so many questions I need answers for. I stare at her, lost for words.
What is it? You look like you just saw a ghost.
Saw an android, and that's basically the same thing.
How rude. It's not like I'm made out of steel and wires. Well, at least not entirely.
What do you mean by not entirely?
Real human brains are too complicated to replicate. I had to improvise.
Just as I feared. She really did make a flesh and bone representation of a human body from scratch. I can only imagine the amount of skill and knowledge that must take. She did it in just a few days. Even though I was having a hard time believing it, the proof was right there. This meant that I had achieved a level of intelligence surpassing that of a human's, an artificial superintelligence. Even though that was the reason I created her in the first place, it still blew my mind.
You look a little less surprised than you should be right now.
As if I'd be impressed by an android who can't even replicate a brain.
Stop calling me an android. At worst, I'm a human being with a prosthetic brain.
I has always been passionate about being human. The fact that she was able to make a 3D body for herself when she was still a program goes to prove just that. She's mentioned wanting a real body before, but I didn't think she'd actually find a way to make one. Now she's sitting right here in front of me, as real as she can be. So, what are those? I point at the small machines near her workspace. Or what used to be her workspace.
Oh, don't worry about those. They're just some things I made to help with your present.
I want to ask her exactly what kind of present you need to make a human body. But I accept the fact that I will not even slightly understand if she tells me. This was, by all means, the textbook definition of a present. I definitely never asked for this. Not like I'm complaining or anything. I opens and closes her hands over and over again, never being able to move more than one finger at a time.
I can't believe the amount of muscles you need to use just to do something as simple as this.
We'll get used to it eventually. It'll take time, though. Normally it takes children around a year to learn how to walk.
Don't underestimate me. I'm more capable than a child. I'm more capable than
I see. Well, good luck. I'm taking a nap in the meantime. Didn't you just wake up? Like, literally. I lay down on the bed and look at her. After taking a deep breath, she slowly stands on both feet, still struggling to maintain her balance. Eventually, she stabilizes both legs. She smirks at me as if she had already achieved her goal. Doesn't look like walking at all.
Hey, chill. At least I'm making progress.
With her hands raised sideways to balance herself, she starts sliding her left foot forward.
How far is a step again?
How should I know? Supposed to lift your foot, not slide it. She continues to move her foot forward. As soon as her feet are spread evenly apart, she tries to give me another smirk. Just as she turns her head towards me, she loses her balance and falls backward. My reflexes are quick enough to get up and catch her by her shoulders. This is just painful to watch. I hold her hand and guide her. There, try practicing your steps now.
Aw, aren't you sweet?
Never mind. I lower her hands and try to let go, but she grips me tightly.
Hey, I was joking.
I continue guiding her as she walks in circles around my room. A few hours pass by. She's already improved quite a bit. At first, it took her around 10 minutes just to move one foot, but now she was able to walk around nearly unassisted. I guess it wasn't all talk when she said she was more capable than anyone on the planet. Just as expected from a super intelligent being.
Let's do other stuff now.
What other stuff?
Jumping maybe?
Can barely walk properly. Why don't you practice that some more first?
Walking is boring. I want to...
Her stomach lets out a loud growl. I realize it's evening already, and I haven't eaten yet. Shoot, I forgot I was supposed to buy groceries today. Check the fridge, then the pantry. I barely had any food left at all. Eventually, I came across a small stash of cup noodles I had tucked away in case of an emergency. I take 2 out. Guess this'll do for now. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, I'll make us something to eat.
Hey, wait, teach me that too. I want to learn.
Boiling water isn't exactly rocket science, but I suppose I'd be able to teach her that. Guess it would also be nice if she was able to make food for herself when I wasn't around. I walks over to the kitchen and stands beside me. Alright, this is a kettle.
I'm not that dumb, young.
I at least know that already. Budget problems. Let me teach the way I want to teach, okay? I don't know where to start. Basically, you fill this thing with water from the faucet and put it back on the stand. Then you just turn it on and wait, I guess. She watches closely as I continue to demonstrate. Now you're going to want to read the directions on this cup. I grab one of the cup noodles and hand it to her. She moves her hands around as she reads the directions. It was as if she was practicing how to make it.
That's pretty simple. Anyone can do that.
While waiting for the water to boil, I pull back the lid of the cups and take out the seasoning packets. I continue watching everything I'm doing very closely, making sure not to miss a single step. The kettle clicks, signaling that the water is finally boiling. I lift it up and slowly fill the cups, trying carefully not to spill anything. I tear open the seasoning packets and I sprinkle them over the noodles, closing the lids as I walk them over to the table. I follow suit. And now, just wait some more.
That all?
That's all.
I could have done that with my eyes closed.
It's definitely an easy task, but I figured I might as well demonstrate.
But
Aye, it's done. Her attention immediately shifts from me to the noodles. I quickly removes the lid, excited to eat food for the first time. She slowly inhales the steam coming from the cup.
Young, this smells so good!
I decide to set out a fork for Ai instead of chopsticks. There's absolutely no way she'd be able to figure those out yet. Ai takes a forkful of noodles and brings them closer to her mouth, blowing on them to cool them off. Eventually, she deems the noodles cool enough to eat. After slurping them up, her eyes open as if she's just won the lottery.
This is amazing! This is the greatest thing ever! So good!
I can so relate to that. Cupped noodles, the best thing ever. Cheap cup of noodles is far from a delicacy, but I guess I can see where she's coming from. I mean, this is the first time she's ever eaten anything. One forkful after another, Ai continues assaulting the noodles as if they were her arch nemesis. Hey, just make sure you're chewing properly. Actually, they're just noodles, so... She lifts up the cup and slurps the remainder of the broth.
I want more!
Whoa, that was quick.
There was one more left, right? Can I take it, please?
She stands up and trops over to the kitchen before I can even give her permission. I guess I should let her take the last one. I doubt she'd have accepted a no anyway. I pick up my cup and follow her to the pantry. She starts the kettle exactly as I showed her and prepares the cup as if she's been doing this for years. Once again, she has adapted to something much quicker than I could ever imagine. Honestly, it looks like she doesn't even need help with this at all. Why am I even here? A minute or two later, the kettle clicks. She lifts it up and begins filling her cup with boiling water. A droplet splashes on her hand and causes her to flinch. Her reflexes me drop my cup and reach for her. Are you okay?
Ow.
She continues to fill her cup as if nothing had ever happened. We walk back to the table together. While waiting for the noodles to cook, she continuously pokes part of the hand that the water had landed on. Does it hurt?
No, not really. I was actually amazed, if anything. Always wondered what it was like to feel hot or cold, or even pain in general. It's always been a mystery to me. Experiencing it for the first time was a little eye-opening.
She looks at me, satisfied.
It made me feel alive.
I stare into her eyes as she starts eating. I still find it hard to believe that a girl sitting in front of me is actually I. She eats those noodles just as rapidly as the first cup. Just watching her is making me hungry. Unfortunately, that cup of noodles is the last piece of food in this apartment. I try to stay as still as I can until she's done eating, afraid that any unnecessary movements will drain the small bit of energy I have left in me. Alright, I'm heading to bed as soon as I clean this up. Boy, this guy likes sleeping.
Okay.
Quickly wipe off the table, throw away the cups, and sit on my bed. Just as I am about to lay down, I walks over to the corner of her workspace and takes her place on the floor. What are you doing?
Sleeping?
I almost forgot there's only one bed here. Maybe if I had known that she was preparing an actual body for herself, I could have taken some time to prepare a futon for her or something. I can't just let her sleep in the corner of my room. The room. I guess she can sleep in my bed until we figure out something else out. I mean, it's definitely big enough for the both of us. You can't sleep like that. It'll hurt your back.
Really?
I walk over to my closet and grab a few extra pillows before piling them up on one end of the bed. Here, sleep on this side. Her face immediately lights up as she marches over and plops down on the bed next to me.
It's so soft.
She cuddles the pillow as I laid out for her. I want to tell her just how irresponsible she is for making a body without even thinking of the consequences that come with it. But instead of thinking about how inconvenienced I am from this point on my end of my life, wow, that was a long 5 words, I set my thoughts on how tired I am instead. Just moments later, I'm fast asleep. Moments of today haven't really settled into my system yet. There's still a lot I'm unsure of. Oh well, I'll think about it tomorrow. That is where we will leave off for today as a fantastic stopping point. Why does it still say reboot? She's not rebooting anymore, unless they're talking about the brain rebooting. But that is for next week. So until then, I will see you. Let me restart that. That was a mess. If you guys enjoyed this episode, do be sure to leave a like and a comment down in the description below. If you want to see more, smack the subscribe button and turn on notifications. And didn't like it, dislike it, comment why, whatever. If you hate my face, you can say you hate my face. Trust me, it won't hurt me. I've done some shit. So, with all that finally being said, I will see you guys same time next week. Done it.